And what a game, Lions fans. What a game. Came down to an absolute nail biter. Jake Bates with the game winning field goal. This was an up and down roller coaster game. I think my heart rate at one point was about 192 beats per minute. My cause of death in the future will be sports, mainly Detroit Lions. Okay. This was a stressful, hard fought battle for the NFC North. This is exactly how I thought this game would be. I thought it'd be lower scoring, but this is the type of game I thought it would be. One possession, who gets the ball last, type of game, and the Detroit Lions end up prevailing. Look, Minnesota Vikings fans, from now on, when you refer to our guy Jared Goff, you can call him Jared Goff, Mr. Goff, or Daddy. Those are really your only three options. Okay, time to put some respect Jared Goff's name. This dude has been playing damn good football the last 3 weeks. Perfect at halftime. I think he's 12 for 12, something like that. Like unstoppable, man. This dude's lethal in the pocket. All jokes aside, Minnesota Vikings, you guys like to tune into the channel here. I appreciate you watching. It was a hard-fought game. I can't wait to run this one back later in the season. I think we see each other again the final week at our place. Maybe the division's on the line. Maybe that game can actually get flexed to Sunday Night Football. I wish this one could have, but I understand games don't get flexed this early in the season. But toward the end, that date is to be determined. That game could be played on a Saturday, a Sunday. We'll have to see what the NFL wants to do. But I look forward to that game in Detroit. That could be game of the week, Sunday Night Football. I expect it to get flexed if both teams finish out the season how I think they're going to. I have so many positives from this game, and to be honest, I'm gonna shoot it real with you guys. I didn't know how this episode was going to go at about the 2-minute warning. Okay. There's a road I was heading, and then there's the road we're on right now. So I'm going to stick to all the positives in this episode. Again, my favorite episodes to do are post-game shows talking about a Detroit Lions win. I'm fortunate enough we get to do that tonight. We get to enjoy the rest of the week. I know if you're like me, my wife knows that I'm a pretty miserable SOB for a couple days until I get over a loss. So shout out to her. Shout out to your wives or husbands if you guys are the same way. This is an emotional fan base, man. And this is a fan reaction podcast where you get a raw emotion. So at one point during the 2-minute warning, I had an idea where I wanted to talk about when we were down. We shifted. There's some stuff I want to talk about later in the week. I've already taken some notes. I got some stuff prepared, but I'm focusing on this game. We came out with a win. That's all that matters. A gritty win for Aiden Hutchinson. I think this team really rallied around that. The injury, that's all we heard. That's all this team heard all week is how do you move on? How do you produce without Aiden Hutchinson? Who needs to step up? And I want to get into some other stuff later. But this episode, I'm focusing on the positives, man. First and foremost, Brian Branch. Is there anything he can't do? Are we going to see Brian Branch potentially kick a field goal? Because I don't think that there's anything that this guy can't do. All right. And I know that it's easy to look at his interception that was phenomenal, diving through the air like a superhero to pick up the ball. But I thought what he did in the run game was exceptional too, like coming into the box and making some big tackles, some open field tackles, the interception, tight coverages, man. We lost Aiden Hutchinson, who was a defensive player of the year candidate. I did an episode. I'm going to find that one. If you guys, it's on here, it's public. I'll try to tag it at the end of this one. It's far back. I told you guys, we potentially have 2 defensive player of the year candidates. This was during the preseason or maybe even training camp. Like I told you, Brian Branch is that dude. Okay. I think he's playing the best football defensively. Name me someone in the NFL who's playing at a high level like Brian Branch. Like all the plays he made today and should have had a scoop and score. Close. It was reviewed. I thought the ball was coming out before his foot hit out of bounds. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Regardless, Brian Branch is an absolute monster. I think that 31 teams in the NFL should be put in prison for not drafting him, but that benefits us. Thank you for letting him fall to the second round. Absolute steal. Brian Branch is the face of this defense for at least the remainder of the season. Okay. And I thought the linebacking core stepped up today. I thought a lot of people stepped up. We'll get into some other stuff later. Okay. I'm not going to talk about this pass rush. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. I got to come with some more facts for you guys. I got to watch this game again. Wasn't thrilled. I want to talk about that later though. Next, positive, Jared Goff. Like I said, what can I say that you guys don't already know? I don't think I have anything new for you. Like this is the leader of our offense, the number one offense in the NFL. Offensive line played great today. Not so much Coyote Awosika. He was a liability in the first quarter. I'll chalk that up to some jitters. Okay, I'll chalk that up to Awosika having a bad start to the game. With I think he had 2 holding penalties and a false start. I know he had 3 penalties. I just can't remember exactly what they were. I'll chalk that up to just having some jitters before the game. Maybe they were expecting Zeitler. Maybe he was a game time decision, and then Coyote gets thrown in there. Nerves, big game, road, division on the line. It was a big moment. But he also played in some playoff games last year when he had to step in. So I didn't like what I saw from Coyote Awosika. But the rest of the offensive line, man, opening up holes for another guy that I think had a phenomenal day today, Jahmyr Gibbs. It seemed like the Minnesota Vikings couldn't stop Jahmyr Gibbs, especially late in the second quarter when we really started to go on a run where we scored 4 touchdown drives in a row. I thought Jahmyr showed that explosiveness. I think they said he had his longest career touchdown today in the second quarter. And I think from that point, the Lions offense opened up the floodgates on Minnesota and just started putting it on them. And what I love to see, and I don't pat my own back often, all right? I don't like to give myself too much credit, but I did an episode on Brian Flores versus Ben Johnson earlier in the week where I talked about the style of play that the Minnesota Vikings defense does. They walk everyone to the line. I thought that Ben Johnson took a big shot at that in attacking it. Instead of saying, I'm not going to let that cripple my offense, I'm going to attack it. Brian Flores said, fight fire with fire. I think Ben Johnson had the same mentality because I saw a couple plays where they walked all of their linebackers up to the line and tried to get that confusing look of who's coming, who's dropping into coverage. And they sent a couple all-out blitzes, and they just handed the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs. When you let that guy get the ball and you don't get home and he's on the second level without no one being there and you're looking at safeties and corners trying to track him down, good luck. Thoughts and prayers, not going to happen. He's explosive enough. And I think we just kind of played into their hand. We fought fire with fire on offense. The offensive line opened up those holes. And I said, if Frank Ragnow and Jared Goff can identify that walk-up defense and identify who's going where and slide the protection the right way, we're going to have a good day offensively. And I think that's exactly what happened. Shout out to Jahmyr Gibbs. Let's look at the stats real fast. Jahmyr Gibbs, 15 carries, 116 yards, 2 tutties, average 7.7 yards per carry, long touchdown of 45. Also chipped in 4 big catches, 44 yards, along of 18 on 4 targets. Jared Goff, 22 of 25, 280, 2 touchdowns, quarterback rating of 140. St. Brown, 8 catches, 112, and a touchdown, along of 35. Like, Jared Goff was just on today. The offensive line was on today. St. Brown was on today. I said that was my key offensive player of the game. I think I have to give it to Jahmyr for what he did, but Amon St. Brown made some noise. I told you guys he'd probably get about 8-9 catches. I think I said 118 yards, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to go back and look. He was close. He had 112 and a touchdown. So I almost called his exact stat line. I was within 4 or 5 yards, I believe. And I thought it was just going to come down to Jared Goff just feeding him the ball and getting under pressure with the way the defense was going to be playing for the Vikings. So it doesn't really surprise me. Like I said, I don't pat myself on the back too much, guys, but I called a lot of things that were going to happen in this game, okay? Except for defensive player of the game. I thought McNeil would have more of an impact, but Brian Branch just seemed like too easy of a pick, okay? I could pick Brian Branch to be defensive player of the game every single week. That's not really a hot take. When I say that the offense looked good, let's just forget that first quarter, okay? I don't know what was going on there. I don't want to talk too much negative. I didn't think that was the right spot for Dan Campbell to do a fake punt. As soon as I can't remember who the player was that went in motion, I started yelling no at the TV. I knew it was going to be a fake. I think Minnesota knew it was going to be a fake. If we're going to do a fake punt, I think I would rather it be a pass. No offense to Jalen Reeves-Maybin. I just don't. That's just a long way for him to get. All right. He's about 5-6 yards behind the ball. He's got to pick up 5. That's a long way for a linebacker to go. Okay. On an option play, it looked like. I think he made the right call of accepting that it wasn't going to happen instead of pitching the ball and making a bad play worse. Just didn't think that was the spot. And then Minnesota capitalized. And I think that Dan Campbell spotted them 7 points. End of the game, end of the day. Doesn't matter, but I feel like that would be a play that we would be dissecting a lot more if the game went the other way. Questionable call. Wasn't a fan of it. And I yelled that out. No. right when I saw that player motioning, I knew what was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be an option play, but I knew we were faking, didn't like it. I thought it just sent a bad image with everything that's gone on this whole week with Aiden Hutchinson and questioning the defense. It just kind of looked like at that time that maybe Dan Campbell didn't have a lot of faith in that defense. I would have liked to see him just punt the ball away. And Aaron Glenn, man, I'm telling you, while we're getting Brian Branch fitted for his gold jacket and the statue outside of Ford Field, maybe if that statue company could give us a 2-for-1 special, because Aaron Glenn has been is he? I guess we call him an MVP, because I think Aaron Glenn in this defense, despite Aiden Hutchinson being out, played a phenomenal game today against one of the league's best receivers, a solid offensive line in Minnesota, Justin Jefferson. Sam Darnold, I thought we made him look shaky at times, but not enough for me. Okay. And again, I have a whole episode planned for something that I want to talk about. So I know I'm kind of beating around the bush on a couple topics here that you guys probably want to hear, but I'm not going to talk negatives on this whole show. Okay. We got the win, 31-29 Lions. I'm not going to do a negativity show when we're fresh off a win and we're sitting in first place, but I do have some questions about some other things. Okay. So sloppy first quarter. Coyote Awosika not helping during that time frame. Other than that, the offense was great. We had some punts. I mean, it's not when we punt the football, it sucks. We all want to see the Lions score on every drive like we did to the Dallas Cowboys, but it's not reasonable. Okay. Some ball security questions offensively. David Montgomery, I would have liked to see him get back in the game and try to redeem himself. But if I know anything about David Montgomery, them Tennessee Titans are in for a rude awakening next week, because I feel like that scoop and score where he gave up the fumble is not going to sit well with him for the week. So I would have liked to see us get him in the game and just say, hey, man, Demo, you're one of the heart and soul people of this team. All right, here's the ball. We know you don't fumble too much. Bad time, bad spot, bad break. Lions bounce back. Teammates picked him up. I love to see that. I like to see the cameras on him on the sidelines, people tapping his shoulder pads and saying, don't worry, Demo, we got you, man. We're going to pick you up. And they did. So next week versus the Titans, I think David Montgomery is going to come out and make a statement. Hint, hint, in my player of the game for next week. Guys, real quick, I do want to address something. I know I promised a giveaway. I'm having some issues with my Twitter account right now. I'm trying to wait until my Twitter account gets verified, and I will be doing an Amon-Ra St. Brown jersey as soon as my Twitter account gets verified. So give it a follow, stick around, leave some comments, guys. I'm ecstatic about this win. It's a big win. We're sitting at first place. We're in control. Let's win some more football games. Let's take care of our stuff in the division, win some football games, see these Vikings again at the end of the season. I can't wait. They played a hell of a game. Vikings played a hell of a game. I hope they don't falter. I want that game, week 18, to be a meaningful game. I want it to be another playoff atmosphere. I want us to win it, get that home field advantage, seal the division on our turf, seal it up. All roads go through Detroit, guys. 31-29 Lions. Lots of positives, guys. I got some good episodes coming up this week. Stick around, hit that like button. I'll be back later with another show. Thanks for watching.